no more hip-hop, hip-hop. Hip-hop, hip-hop, no more 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 mind predators who are interstellar travelers. This casual ocean of voidness in space boils buildings in London filled with statues of gargoyles. Vatican mass murderer, I suppose the burning of psychics cannot be imposed. I see perimeters of pyramids within a pyramid across the globe. Tetrahedron star activates my macabre field, piercing through the sacred city of Shambhala, with a royal feathered headdress bathing in molten lava. Peruvian, unidentified submersible objects, fusion of jazz and poetry, subterranean prospect. Unison of the 7 seas with the 7 deserts 7 days a week. And I was sent to blow out the flame on the Olympic torch. Hidden knowledge that bewilders even master builders, astonished when they witnessed red-headed giants using icebergs to surf on the sun. Astonished when they witnessed red-headed giants using icebergs to surf on the sun.
When Mother Earth was created, the other planets jubilated in awe of universal mechanics, constantly moving, shaping, scaping, and expanding into one self-regulating beginning with endless segments ending. Sand dunes held a womb fed by tributaries and underground pools. When she awoke, her hands stretched to handle tectonic plates, kicking feet broke plains to rubble. From a crater she emerged, her luminous frame adorned in crystals. An assortment of metals and sand grains formed her petals, resting on a well-rounded hollow drum, spitting beats from her core that surfaced as a myriad of life forms. Mother music chants to the crackle of fires, head bobbing to the swing of pendulum squires, whose dreaded dunes are heard inside of the pages of pads which have left blood stains on my own pains, and now I limp this saxophone waiting to holler home, for I am a celestial being waiting for jazz to come and comfort me.
Hermit, the introvert, developed traits of telepathy when structuring the noetic notations in music to counterpart that architect that built Rome in half a day. From back in the days, quiescent petroglyphs to the strings of music artists in this modern day. But in the inception of a matrix, my heavy thoughts did not matter when faced with mass ridicule. But I solved the equation of a cipher's geometrical scale. Figures why my speech would sprint on a tightrope of a metaphor. Hence, mass is a matter of factors, not dense. Like anomalies that drain the terror of Sinopolis, depict the pouring deserts of Egypt. Broad thought to rethink dehydrates the brain. But to break Draco's heart, the Cupid's key. But Lucifer screams when third-eye arts are induced in a lucid dream. But amused it seemed that to deem myself worthy of that tribal revolution, the trumpets, the trunk, and flutes, the flute, I'd have to redeem my social traits of a narcissist and rebuke myself over these social traits of a narcissist, because what comes around goes without saying that. In other words, poetry is expression without saying in other words. But it's a parallel universe, and in other worlds, I'm a light being paganist to utter words that are miraculous like a parrot speaking in tongues. I'm a light being paganist.
No.
Very difficult to look at the horizon and reach as far as I can see today, sir. For historical descendant from the Egyptian temple going on down, then all I came to inform. Understanding is impossible unless all six senses are applied to conform. With that being said, I confirm. The third is found when two focus on being one to see past the light to find the spark of doubt within one's enlightenment. Thus, hence my foresight allows me the ability to understand the dynamics of why we exist within the four elements. But was never forewarned, passing thyself is the greatest test. The test, as you may like to honor, has been put to rest. Lost in forest, the imagery of snakes has been tainted by the virgin blood spilled in Bohemian Grove as ordered by sinful hail. His tisk. Medicinal spell blown through elephant tusk till it hits nails, employed on mail. The message is amiss. Knowledge is an ocean, take a dip in the deep of the abyss. After time, we're about to see residues of folk on trail. Rather odd that we seek the answer of beyond. Comments, angels, and all things last you when we have been solved the puzzle found terrestrial. Spirits void, ideals twirl, witness the upward movement of the descending coil.
Oh my God.
Past the smile, I'm in denial. I've witnessed righteousness, spoken conviction, 10 fallacy, and there was no trial. There's pagan hounds that rise on the Sabbath to chain up your mind, blinding your sight through preaching holy false words after you pay a fee and take heed in the heavenly tabernacle. With that, I'm forced to believe that right is wrong and wrong is right. So convict I the outspoken, cause freedom of speech has content is criminal. Don't you agree? Power is a problem if used to wield its appeal.
Songs in the wind, and they are breathing us in. So we must all shout, cause that's the sound when jazz meets poetry. I will be so loud and go all out, for this is prophecy. There are songs in the wind, and they are breathing us in. So we must all shout, for that's the sound when jazz meets poetry. And I will be so loud and go all out, for that's the prophecy. Center, self, otherwise avenger hindered process. Heaven crumples, merging curves, observation, harlot's angel skirt. Concentration snaps, hypnosis lurks, depart fulfillment. Branches stem from seas as them for us. The ability to cross oceans can sink boats. Once found new land was covered, remote from inhabitants, far-fetched origin. There was the flute player, evolved into saxophone. The drummers clapping their hands to give props to the bassmen who have grasped the key of pianist by joining the band. Let us merge like the desert awaiting a droplet of rain to reach into its wetness. On the surface, I am an energy field, yielding vocabulary, blurring the unnecessary. Commit habits, prolong divine deeds, eternal efficiency. Showcase invisibility, momentary disappearance consistently.
Ay, no.
Satisfaction achieved eating from the fruits of wisdom. Gaining knowledge undermines self-thought privileges. Mentor, another lesson, class dismissed. Ring the irritating sound of the alarm, intruding the private passage of wanting corridors. Diversion in separate attempts with one common goal. Breaking the benchmark, internal barriers stumble over. Fighting the contemplation of two voices. Prophecies producing your action in time reversal mind games. Lost in translation aggravates 2/3 of separate functions. Engorged with experience. Mutual respect goes hand in hand with loyalty. Where the greener side is the Amazon forest, Tropical thunder louder than the roar of a tiger. Cups with premature excess of bond. Infinite swimming, crossing Jordan, yet finding his way back to the witch's emporium. Sweet sugar, candy, glucose, enticing infant. Hot stoves, bald, cannibalistic horror. Stories leading in the next sequel of mutated imaginative organs stored. Mud pals, bold breath, breaking water into its pure elements. 2 times hydrogen to oxygen immersed in perfect balance as the universal neutralizer. Burning fire to ashes, piled up in dumping units with bacteria, sanitizing antiseptic bruises. Ointment bandages for the mummified emperor. Riding on dragons back with fiery breath. Breath consumes the material with nemesis that kept his enemies closer. I'd rather be a fetus because I can't handle exposures.
Rise, first pillar! So learn to transcend beyond, because art is the spirit, not the mind. So abstract that condescending skill from your IQ and let the impulse of rhythm feed the soul to coincide with a body that resides in the mystery of thought, music, and souls. And make the type of love's climax most fail to apprehend or fathom, since they were too impotent to sex it up. I mean, saxophone it up or jazz them by having a musical orgasm. Or perhaps I'm too deep in the hole, quick as a rabbit, since a snail in comparison is pale. But I'm a John Coltrane. I'm a John Coltrane of thought, blowing the saxophone out of proportion. So all hail that Smitty Rollins rolling in symphonies that sing for me. All hail! I stayed that dissolved, but I liquidated chance and provision I solved. So ink from the heart and think from the art. I'm addicted to avant-gardes that reverse psychology with a head rush. How odd that minds keep racing. How odd that minds keep racing while terms and conditions apply to the reckless. And speaking of races, that colorblind canine's equivalent to music, don't you think? But jazz it, refuse it to relink to that poetry that's crystal clear to the pillars of prophecy.
Pillars of prophecy.
But I can only confide in myself, so I talk to me. But I'm not crazy. It's the voices in my head that are crazy. And though diagnosis declares a concussion, I tap into the mindset of defeat, dancing to the beat of my percussion. But since no good deed goes unpunished, in the end, I will suffer the repercussions. Since no good deed goes unpunished, in the end, I will suffer the repercussions. All hail the second pillar! Rise! Rise, the second pillar! Rise!
Exhale the soul of Coltrane. Poetry steps forth from a sarcophagus, wrapped in ink-stained papyrus, faceless vessel with an Egyptian tablet chest, roaming the satellite age with a chemetic analog GPS. I've been walking these same streets and I hear their skins freeze, so now I'm taking nouns in order to commonize myself to that same fountain that has been building putrid music from beasts, that comes from bass guitars that strum by pillars of pilgrimage, and I am an image taken from a dream, but in these schemes I find myself lost, but still reciting this type of poems that could fill the heart of the audience. And with these same words, I call the third pillar to rise!
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 Buttercup open, wide wings displayed within an oval cocoon. Metamorphosis continuing, growing limbs on organism. Crucifixion, hood and stock, done preaching, telling stories told. Unfold, fable, solution, unsurfaced, remaining underground. Civil engineering dug deep below. Rats ruling the paradise. The tale of Despero, big eerie hearing sense divide. Molecules collide, birth of antimatter. Scientifically studying the origins of the universe transcends upon evolution, Homo habilis erecting perpendicular structures, welded together in high temperature, liquids liquidating in contrast within below sub-zero freezing element, winter vaporized cumulus cloud. Nimbus come to the rescue, spiritual levitation elevating from the stratosphere. Moon level, sea rising 30 meters above sea level. Mountain peaks, rocks falling like avalanches. Destroying house, evicted from routine. Shaped and flattened, flapjack flipping, pancakes, picnics in awful weather. Splattered glass pieces, open castles in range of arches. Bow and arrow drowned in sorrow, earth failure. Passing ideas around like beer bottle, my cup overflows. Pouring when the floodgates of heaven is open, shielded the rain with armored umbrellas, bowing before the pot of gold, blessed by the 7 colors. Rise forth, pillar!
Rise!
Rise forth, pillar!
Rise!
Rise forth, pillar!